Dom? Dom, can you hear me? Dom, it's Sunfire. Are you there? Over.
Greetings, Wastelanders! Today we're going to take a look at a location that was easy to find as we know it to actually exist. And in doing so, it should help us to further pinpoint other locations throughout the wasteland with their shared distances, direction, and other information we can gather and use. The Germantown Police Headquarters is located among the ruins of Germantown, Maryland in the Capital Wasteland. It is the only building left standing in what would be the downtown Germantown area with an interior, as all the surrounding buildings appear to have been completely decimated by the Great War. As you approach the police headquarters, you'll find that it is being inhabited by a group of super mutants who are using this building as their home or base of operations. They would often raid nearby settlements, capturing their victims to process or hold in the police headquarters, making good use of the jail cells that still exist here. Before the Great War, the police headquarters was located in what was the district's local police department. Eventually, in case of catastrophic events, an evacuation center had been set up here by a unit of the National Catastrophe Relief Auxiliary, or NCRA for short. This was located outside in the parking lot of the Germantown Police Headquarters as a pre-war camp where people would come to seek assistance during the Great War. The National Guard was also dispatched to maintain order and assist the NCRA in its efforts. When exploring this location in 2277, you'll come across super mutant gore bags in the remaining tents found in the parking lot outside. Inside the Germantown Police Headquarters, you'll find that it has many rooms to explore, complete with a shooting range, a locker room, kitchen, many offices, and a holding area, to name a few. More importantly, you'll come across a number of terminals that contain a few of the last 911 calls placed before the events of the Great War. These are very much worth a read if you'd like to explore some of the random stories found throughout the wasteland. You'll also find a bit of reading material like Lying Congress Style, Tumblr's Today, and a DC Journal of Internal Medicine. There's also a password for a lockdown computer, a Fat Man, and my favorite, a Nuka-Cola Quantum, among a bit of other loot too. You'll also find and may be able to rescue Shorty and Red here, the super mutants' current kidnapping victims from a nearby town on the opposite side of the Potomac River. There's not much history I can share on this specific police station, as I honestly couldn't locate anything worth mentioning. Their website didn't offer anything in that regard, or perhaps it wasn't made easy to find if any history on the building exists. But what I can tell you about the history of this area is that in the 1830s and 40s, the central area of business here was focused on the intersection of two roads not too far from here. There were a number of German immigrants that set up shop in that intersection, and in doing so, the town became known as Germantown. Although it is also said that most residents of the town at that time were of English and Scottish descent. This, of course, is how the Germantown police station got its name. Even though the sign outside reads a little bit different, it is known to locals as the Germantown police station just because that's where it is, and that's what it is. Oh, looks like we've got an incoming transmission. I'd better check this. Capital Wasteland Travel Guide Disclaimer. Fallout is a video game franchise containing elements inspired by our world and was created to take place in an alternate timeline of our reality. Events that have taken place in the Fallout timeline have shifted the lay of the land, the names and locality of places, their purpose, and even their very existence, resulting in the differences found between the Fallout timeline and our own. The Capital Wasteland Travel Guide is a series meant to be a fun look into discovering, comparing, and simply showing the similarities and differences of the featured locations, regardless of if a place was inspired by a location in our reality or not, and should not be taken literally. Locations in Fallout that clearly do not exist in our reality, either physically or by name, were created for the sake and production of developing the Fallout universe and games as we know them. These locations are still explored to show the area where they would have been in our reality if they did exist, and if any possible structures in the area happen to share any commonalities with that of the Fallout counterpart. As we already know this to be an existing location in the real world, there isn't much deducing to be done. We just simply know where it is because it's easy to search for. However, some things we can already expect are the differences both versions of this location will have in its shape, size, and architecture, primarily because locations that are recreated for the Fallout universe have to fit the Fallout style. In Fallout, the Germantown Police Headquarters appears to be made of concrete, and visually appears to be a possible 3 to 4 floors tall from the outside, or at least what could have been a 4th floor, but there only seems to be 2 floors with a basement when exploring the interior. In the real world, the building is made of brick, and from what we can see from the outside, it doesn't appear to be as tall when compared to the in-game version, but it does seem to have 2 floors above ground. Whether it also actually has a basement is unknown. The parking lot and land surrounding this building is possibly much larger and less crowded when compared to the Fallout versions. We won't be comparing interiors for this location. We also simply wouldn't be allowed to film inside nor explore much of it anyway. Though this location was not difficult to find as previously mentioned, let's still take a look at our maps to also compare its position and distance from other places we found already. Today's Wasteland tips brought to you by Overshia. All stash boxes are linked with science. Looking for a place to stash your loot but can't make it back to base? Try your local gas or train station. In Fallout 3, you can easily locate the Germantown Police Headquarters by traveling a straight line north into Maryland from the town of Springville in Virginia. It doesn't get much easier than that without pointing attention to other locations we haven't officially found yet. If we were to do the same with our map, we'll find that it isn't as accurate, but it's also not that far off. Traveling north as we do in-game will lead us into Germantown, Maryland, and from there, it isn't that difficult to locate the police station. The Germantown Police Headquarters leans a tiny bit more northwest than a straight shot north, and is easily located in the downtown Germantown area, found across the street from a large parking lot containing a few restaurants and between the main downtown strip and movie theater. Some other interesting details that we can find by looking at the map are the distances from the Potomac River. On the Fallout map, it looks like the Germantown Police Headquarters is a lot closer to the Potomac, while on our map, the Germantown Police Headquarters looks like it sits a bit further away in comparison. Additionally, details in the terrain also provide some interesting information in finding this location. Looking at the Potomac River again, you'll see that it almost turns 90 degrees south at this point as the river flows out to eventually reach the Chesapeake Bay. Though not 100% accurate, this detail is apparent on both maps. This harsh turn in the Potomac River also happens to be directly south of the Germantown Police Station. And something that we'll start to be doing in further episodes is turning back the time to 2008 when Fallout 3 was released to see if it may provide us with additional information about the area. However, we'll find that this area hasn't changed in a manner that would provide us with any further insight into this location. We've now located the Germantown Police Station and explored its history, appearance, and location both in-game and in the real world. As a result, we can add this known existing location to the map, and with the locations we've previously found, it will help us further in finding the spots for other in-game locations that don't exist in the real world. So to confirm, I think it's pretty clear that this is a location that was used as inspiration for the game, even if the only detail that it truly shares is its name. And maybe the jail cells. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Now it's your turn to let me know your thoughts on this location, whether your experience of it is just through this episode or from venturing here in Fallout 3. I want to give a big thanks to our channel members Zoocrafted and Syntronic Cindy for all your support, and to our contributors Sunfire SG and Overshia. There's always another location to be found, and the next one may not be too long before we get there. So until next time, stay safe in the wastelands, be excellent to one another, and don't go anywhere just yet because there's still more to enjoy. Hey Wastelanders, don't forget to also check the description of my videos for a lot more content and fun. You'll find links to my other platforms and my Discord community where you can find out more about my other Fallout related projects. You'll also find a link to my merch store where you can purchase Capital Wasteland Travel Guide merch and more. I'm also a Bethesda Gear Store ambassador, so you'll find my link to their store if you want to purchase some Bethesda Soft merch. You may occasionally find discount codes too, but act fast or they may expire. If you liked today's episode, please do me the favor of hitting that like button, and if you really liked it, you can also subscribe. You can also let me know what you thought of today's episode by dropping a comment below. I try to respond to everybody. And lastly, if you really want to show your support, hit that join button to become a channel member. There are 3 different tiers available with rewards. It would be awesome to get this series in front of more Fallout fans, but no matter how you choose to show your support, it's very much appreciated. So thank you. It's too early for this. I need coffee. I really want some coffee. It makes me a little bit more nervous actually than filming Springvale Elementary School. Well, I hope we got all the lines down and all the footage I need because we're done. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Come on, just act normal. So I don't know if the cops park around here or not, but they were one was kind of just hanging out in the parking lot near me. So I was just like, this is weird. Yeah, I think it's time to go home. It's time for coffee anyway.